Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Treasure Talks. My name is Kimani and I am super excited and super nervous to start this podcasting journey. I'm just sitting in a chair by myself talking into a microphone, which is something that I'm used to doing just without the microphone. So here we go. Let's see how this goes. I wanted to start this podcast for a few reasons, and I will get into them more towards the end of what this whole episode is going to be about, because I feel like it ties in really, really well. I wanted, because it is almost the end of January, this will be posted on the last day of January. I wanted to talk about creating your vision and the importance of that. And the emphasis in what it is that I'm saying is the your. Creating your vision. There's not a single person on this earth who can do that for you. It's something that you need to sit down and figure out for yourself. What is it that you want? What are the goals that you want to accomplish? So before I dive into creating your vision, I just wanted to say a couple things. This is my first podcast ever, so thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Please be patient with me as I'm learning what it is that's going to work best, how best to speak, just absolutely everything. I'm learning it, and I hope that each episode improves as I go on. And then number two, I do not believe that as people, we will 100% agree with anything that comes out of anybody else's mouth. We will not, it just will not happen. So if there's anything that I say that you do not agree with, please just allow the wheat to grow up with the weeds. Cut out those bad weeds. Hopefully there's a lot of good wheat that you're still getting here. It's okay. And the third and last thing that I wanted to say is that I am not an expert. I am not pretending to be an expert. I am actually really happy that I get to sit here and say that I have not labeled myself as an expert in any way. So please, once again, if I say something that's wrong, just forgive me. All right, so creating your vision. Let's dive in. So I turned 30 last year, and it was truly one of the most pivotally life-changing years of my life. I'm absolutely loving being in my 30s. I actually don't understand why we can't be born in this decade. One of the reasons why I feel like I had one of the most successful years of my life when it came to setting and accomplishing goals. I had a 90% success rate in terms of checking off the things that were on my vision board. And these were not easy goals. They were really, really hard goals. I actually had no idea how I would even check off 2. I had no idea how that would even be possible. One of them was something that has been the same in my life for basically the 30 years that I've been alive. What? For some of these things to really have happened, there was something that I did differently. And I knew going into the year that I was going to do things a lot differently in 2022. I already had the inspiration. I already had the mindset of this year is going to be unlike any other year that I've lived so far. I want absolutely everything in my life to change. There is nothing that I want to stay the same. I want a complete transformation of a year, and that's what I feel like I got. So with creating your vision, first thing is first, you have to desire to see a change in your life. You have to want it. If you don't want it, then you are not going to put the work in that it takes to see any of those goals that are in your heart actually happen. The desire for it is one of the first things that you have to have. If you feel like you are stuck in your life, you're not supposed to be stuck. There is something that is going on. What is it that you need to change in order to unstick yourself? There is something, at least one thing that you can do that will change and get you out of that stuck life that you've been living in. So my first episode is talking about vision boards, but the interesting thing is that I was a vision board hater. I hated doing vision boards. I hated getting together with the groups of people, doing vision boards, posting these pictures, writing all this stuff on this board, and not seeing it happen year after year. Not just for me, but for the other people in the group as well. Like, I really felt like it was one of those things that we're just doing just to like kill time with each other. I don't know. It was never actually a fun thing for me because I felt like it wasn't successful. So how did I jump from being a vision board hater to a vision board advocate? I'm not going to say lover because we're not quite there yet, but I am definitely an advocate now. And the answer to that is results. I actually saw results. And I don't think that I saw these results because I just picked the right pictures this time or because I put the right words on there. I believe that I saw these results because of the changes that I made within myself and the changes that I made in my life. And so I just wanted to go through what those changes are, not all of them, just some of the things that I chose to do that I believe made the biggest difference in regards to the results that I saw last year. So first, I stopped basing my belief of who I am, what I can do, and what I should do on anybody else. It took time for me to sift through my own insecurities, as well as other people's opinions, as well as what it is to want in life that seems quote unquote normal. But the time that it took me to sift through those things was worth it. I sat in silence. That's something that a lot of people don't want to do, or I think it's something that a lot of people are afraid of. Because if you sit in your silence and you're there with your own thoughts, what is it that you're going to start thinking? Positive things? Negative things? I think a lot of people shy away from their own thoughts. And so in doing that, they're not really discovering what it is in them that needs to be changed. And they're not discovering what it is that they want. They're just being fed what their friends are doing and what seems good for their friends, or they're being fed what it is that's popular on social media or on television, but they're not sitting with themselves and determining what is the right thing for me specifically. We were all created differently. I'm going to be good at different things, and so I should want different things. But I'm not going to figure out what those different things are if I don't take time to myself to determine what that looks like. So there were 3 P's that I believe, or I'm framing this with 3 P's that I believe made a difference last year with me creating my own vision. 1 is position, 2, perseverance, and 3, protection. So let's start with position. So in positioning myself, The first thing that I did is pray. This was before I glued any pictures on a board and wrote anything of what it is that I wanted. First, I prayed. I believe in God, and I believe that He speaks to us. So if I was going to plan out the things that I wanted to see happen that year, I had to do that with Him. And in the midst of praying, some other things came up as well. While I was praying, I realized something really big. I realized that I had an issue with how I saw myself. And I had an issue with what it was that I really believed that I can do. I did not see myself as someone who could do absolutely anything that I put my mind to. I saw myself as someone who needed the approval or the help of other people in order to get where I wanted to. And I realized that that was a deterrent for me. I don't love asking for help, but I thought that I needed help in order to do the things that I wanted to do. So if you're relying on other people, if you don't believe that you yourself can do it, then you are limited to what other people can offer you. So that was just one of the ways that I was limiting myself. I didn't want to be someone who thought that they had to rely on other people in order to get where they want to in life. And so I made a change. I changed my mindset. And I said, if there is anything for me to do, I will be able to do it. God, if it's just me and you, we got this. Just because you've been discouraged or disappointed by things that have happened in your life, don't hold on to that. If there's something that you have wanted for years and you haven't seen it happen yet, put it on your board and believe that it can happen. And if you do need help, as we all do sometimes, I believe that help will be brought to you. I just want our first reaction, if something happens, to change from being who can help me to what can I do about this? Because I guarantee that there's so much you can do. So first I started with prayer, and then after that, I made a plan. I wrote down the things that I felt like in prayer I wanted and I was getting confirmation of. I took notes on my phone. I use the notes app on my phone all the time. Wrote everything down. I focused on 2022 only. And those were the pictures and the words that I put on my board. It was everything that I got in prayer, only the things that I got in prayer, and only the things that I got specifically for 2022. Number 2, perseverance. I wanted 2022 to be a year full of celebrations, celebrating all of the change that I was going to encounter that year. I wanted change so bad. I was willing to do whatever it took in order to see things be completely different in my life. And I worked really hard in order to see certain things happen. I started with changing me. All of the changes, and I mentioned one that I felt like I got in prayer that I needed to alter in my